seeing someone who can show up and be themselves is a beautiful thing. If I personally can provide an environment where people can do that, that makes me very happy as a choreographer.
That resonates for us as an institution at USC Kaufman too, because it's really about that openness and that curiosity and that willingness to bring your best self and to be open to whatever else may come.
Yeah.
I feel like that's probably some of the best advice you can give out there.
Be yourself.
Hi, Houston. It's such a pleasure to have you here at USC Glorya Kaufman School of Dance. Welcome.
Thank you.
And I guess we can just start it off by talking a little bit about your background. Share a little bit about, what's your past and what's brought you to today.
Yeah. So I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois, from the South Side. I started my dance training on the south side of Chicago, looking in a basketball gym, looking at a basketball rim, holding a bar and learning to do pliés. These classes were provided by the Joffrey Ballet's outreach program. And this is how I started kind of dancing. My parents would describe me as a person that was always kind of moving around. Even when I was in my mother's tummy, I was always just kind of constantly moving. So my parents from a very young age thought that something with movement or physicality would be within my world. I mean, my mother was, she didn't dance professionally, but dance was something that was very of high interest to her. My father was in sports. So physical kind of movement was always kind of surrounding me in some sort of way. And from there, the Joffrey School opened their school in Chicago in 2008, and I naturally joined them. And then after that, I moved to New York City. I went to the School of American Ballet for 2 years, and then I randomly found myself in Germany, in Dresden, with the Semper Opera Ballet, performing there for 10 years. And now I'm back in America choreographing and really kind of going on this journey of my lifelong dream of being a choreographer. When I first saw my first ballet ever, which was the Nutcracker by Jared Arpillon, I was really inspired by what I saw on stage. I remember thinking to myself, I would love to dance something like that, but I also remember I would love to create something like that. So choreography has always been in the back of my mind. And then it's only until now that I've really decided to go after that dream.
Well, and it seems to be working out for you. Oh, because congratulations on the Princess Grace Award this past year. Like, that's really, a launch pad, hopefully, for all of these opportunities that are going to open up. I've only been able to see a little bit of rehearsals so far, but there is definitely, speaking of sports, this kind of kinetic energy. Like, there's a drive in your work. Is there anything, behind that? Or like, what's interesting you right now in your like creative research?
Yeah, I think something that I would describe my movement aesthetic or style is that I really love high intensity execution. And I guess that comes from my father's sports background as well, my experience in sports. But I love kind of seeing dancers really push themselves and really push what we know about dance in general, and seeing what kind of results come from that. So I love that, but I think also it's the music. I'm using music by Caleb Arredondo, Echo Sax. And it's a single saxophone, and some of the tempos are pretty fast, and it really pushes the choreography forward and at a great speed and tempo. And so I think that is what you're maybe seeing in the dance, is really this kind of influence, which is always very important to me, the music and the relationship to dance. I always see music as the map or the guide of every creation that I have. So I think that's really what you're seeing, is the music kind of inform these movements.
Is that probably part of that Balanchine Forsyth legacy that you've kind of inherited?
Absolutely.
As well?
Yeah, I think, well, for one, being Black, being American, music is just something that's so part of our culture, that it's, and us moving with that movement, with that music, has always been very important, and it's something that is very distinct within my relationship with dance, but also my family's relationship. All of us can dance and move and love to have a good time dancing. So I think it's part of that. But also that training at School of American Ballet, which is Mr. Balanchine's school, and it was very adamant about high sensitivity to music. And so I do think that that has definitely shifted my point of view and perspective on how I create dance, but also how I use music for myself when I'm dancing. So yes, I would say Forsyth, Balanchine are definitely huge influences on my career.
Thinking about the kinds of dancers that are speaking to you, when you're auditioning, is that one of the main things that you're looking for? Is musical sensitivity, phrasing, like what speaks to you in the artist today? And maybe that also translates into, are we providing, the dancers of the future with these skills? Like, what are you seeing out there?
Yeah, I think definitely musicality is one of the biggest components a dancer should have. I think when you're musical, it really can help you a lot. So even if you're maybe you're lacking in different technical aspects, but with music, it can help with dynamics. It can help with speed. When you think about Balanchine and fast footwork and tendus, it comes from hearing the music, not just kind of going as fast as you can. You build that muscle memory with the music. And so I do think that musicality is a very strong asset to have. I think also another thing, I really love when I can see a dancer be themselves while they're dancing. I think sometimes it can be very easy to kind of become a character or pretend to be something while dancing, especially when you're a young person or a student. You're still trying to find yourself through this language that doesn't require words. You're also trying to figure yourself out as a person. So there are many things that a young person is trying to figure out, but when they're able to kind of shine or show their soul, I think that is really something to take note of.
And it requires such a vulnerability.
Yes.
Yeah, that's like the scary thing, I think, is not knowing who you are at that age.
Exactly.
And sharing.
Walking into a space, there's new people, new eyes. There's also other people that you're in a way competing with. And then you're also watching yourself in a mirror constantly. So there's always this type of, I don't want to call it a judgment, but this environment of pressure, I guess. So seeing someone who can show up and be themselves is a beautiful thing. And I also just love to see people who have an understanding of their bodies. And when I say their bodies, understanding of how their body moves through space. And that doesn't mean like high technical execution. It's just having an understand of how do I pick up my foot? How do I place my leg when I'm doing a développé? Where am I spotting? Can I spot? All of those kind of fundamentals I look for, because for me, I'm willing to work with anyone of any type of level. I like to find or let us meet in the middle so that I can eventually push you up to where I want you to be. So I'm, again, looking for someone who wants to be open and eager to work with me.
I think that's something that resonates for us as an institution at USC Kaufman too, because it's not about the best dancer. It's really about that openness and that curiosity and that willingness to bring your best self and to be open to whatever else may come.
Yeah.
I think that's such a good advice for young dancers, right? Is that there is this kind of stereotype of whatever genre you're showing up in, that I have to be this cookie cutter version of myself, but not really myself. I feel like that's probably some of the best advice you can give out there.
Be yourself. I mean, we live in a world, we live in a country, United States, where it's all about individuality. We're fortunate enough that we can live in a world that we can do that. And so why not try to live like that? Why not use it when we see in our world that many people are being stripped of their rights and their personal identity? So when if I personally can provide an environment where people can do that, that makes me very happy as a choreographer.
I think dancers sense this from you because we had an overwhelming desire of number of dancers wanting to work with you. So, kudos.
Thank you.
You're very popular.
That makes me feel good.
And what I've seen from watching your rehearsal, I can really get that vibe of this kind of great push-pull of such high expectations for the rigor and the level that you need to show up with, and also honoring every person in the room. So I think that's really also great advice to the rising choreographers out there, right? Is how do we learn how to be the person in front of the room?
Yes.
Did you have anybody that was really kind of a guiding example as to, I want to model myself after this person, or amalgamation of people?
Yeah, so going back to Little Houston on the south side of Chicago, looking at the basketball room, holding a bar, learning to do ballet. The person that was teaching me ballet at the time, his name was Pierre Lockett. He was the director of the community engagement program at the Joffrey Ballet during that time. And Pierre has become one of my biggest mentors throughout my entire life. He was first the person to kind of help set a dream, or allow me to see that dream clearly. And he put me on a path that has ultimately led me here today. I would not be in the seat without that man. And so from the beginning, Pierre made his expectations clear. His expectations, and also his expectations for you. If you were going to come to class, again, we were in a basketball gym court. And he was like, if you're going to be here, you give me your 100%. You're going to be fully dedicated, fully committed. There's no distractions. You're in this room, be concentrated on what's happening in this room. Nothing else matters. And so he really placed this foundation for me that has really set an expectation for myself and what I want for my creative processes and the rooms that I'm in. I really owe a lot to this man. I'm really grateful that he has been in my life and continues to be in my life, because he really taught me a lot. And so he's one of those examples. I've also been in rooms where I've seen people being yelled at. I've seen people be treated badly, and that's just something that I never want from my own room. And so I've learned from that, and really becoming a choreographer. Sometimes the creating part is easy. The hardest part is being in the front of the room and guiding people. And so I've really tried to pay attention to that and kind of hone in on those skills throughout my time now as a choreographer.
Yeah, it really is something to like switch from being a dancer where you don't use your voice very often to being the leader at the front of the room and taking charge. It really is a different skill set.
Yes.
Something that you said a minute ago, kind of also I wanted to get your thoughts on. I think ballet is in such an interesting place at the moment. I think we're always in discussion about what its value is in today's kind of dance ecosystem. And that dedication that you get, it can also be such a mindful practice. There's something about dialing in, I find, that makes it, in today's, challenging times, that it can be a very liberating freedom in the discipline.
Absolutely.
What are your kind of thoughts on what is ballet doing? Where is it going? Where do we want it to go?
Yeah. I sometimes I feel like we, as people of the ballet community, of the dance community, we have a natural worry or just want to know the importance of this art form. But I see ballet like any other art form. It's just another vessel to communicate or to share a message or to even just show love. And so I see it that way. I try not to put it on any type of different pedestal. Of course, there might be difference in accessibility or how we see or how the public sees this art form. But I try to make it, or I try to see it for myself as music or even as acting. It has just as much importance. My hope is, and I can only speak for myself for this art form, is that I hope that I can continue to bring new light to it, share new stories, share new concepts, provide new voices, involve new voices into this. I really want people to be able to see themselves within dance, which I think we already do. I mean, see the success of TikTok dances, for example. Dance is so vital and important in our cultures worldwide, and I think dance is just another facet of that. And so I hope that by continuing to break new ground and new discoveries with my perspective, my point of view, sharing some of my stories as well, I hope that we can continue to make ballet viable and continue to live on for another couple of 100 years.
I hope so too. I feel the same. Like it is something that has so much beauty to offer the world. And it is just a medium, so make of it what you will. And I think it's open to so many voices and so many points of reception out there too. I feel like it hasn't maybe even hit its stride yet.
I don't think so.
Or as the cycle is, coming around again, I hope.
I hope so too. I think it's just, we really need to find a way that as many people as possible can see themselves on stage in a ballet performance. And I think that's maybe one of the issues that we have right now, is that it's not that many people can see themselves. Even as a young dancer, it was hard to see myself on stage. So, I really want to push that as well, the diversity within this art form and getting more people and audiences as well.
Well, I hope we can continue to do that here too, because USC is such a diverse campus, and we're lucky to offer our performances for free for the community. So lots of people are going to get to come see that work of yours at the end of April, May. Well, Houston, is there anything else that you were really wanting to talk about, or that you want to put on the record today?
I don't know. Put me on the spot. Not sure. Is there something I want to talk about? I don't know. You don't have any more questions for me?
I don't know.
I'm putting you on the spot now.
It's like, we could have coffee all day as far as I'm concerned. But no, it's been such a pleasure to have you here, really and truly. Like, I wish you could stay longer.
Me too.
Teach some more classes, but maybe this is just a start, Like,
I hope so.
I really would love for you to come back and we can get you in the classroom a little bit.
Yes.
I feel like that's something that our students are desiring, is to have more interaction with you, because I really do feel like, you're practicing what you preach, and like kind of bringing this inspiration that you received from your mentors, and passing it along. And I think that's what kind of the folks in our generation are doing, is that we may have had some challenging moments in the ballet studio in the past, and we see a future for it that is still just as rigorous but a little more kind.
Yes, exactly. And I think, just like you said, it's just kind of pushing it forward and hopefully bringing more smiles to our studios. But it's been really fun. And I've really enjoyed being at USC and working with these young people. It's always inspiring to work with young people, because you remember what it was like to be that age when you were, naive. You didn't know any much. You just knew that you wanted to dance, and the love of dance is just like taking you forward. So I love to see people in that moment in their lives, and to hopefully help them grow to what they can become. So thank you again for having me here at USC. It's been a really enjoyable experience.
It's our pleasure, and we hope to have you back soon. So until the next time.
Until the next time.